First of all, what we will do in this part is connect our real-time database to our Android Studio app. Now, you may be thinking that we have connected our Firebase project with our app. Now we need to connect these two as well, but that's basically how it works. You need to connect your feature that you want to use with your app. Instead of connecting, you can call it including the Gradle file or dependency to your project. You can do it directly by copying the code and adding it to the Gradle build, but instead the Android Studio provides us the feature. But first of all, let's just delete everything from our database. One way to do it is just go to your root element and click on the delete button, and that's gonna delete everything for you guys. All right, so the next step that goes is go to Android Studio, and here we have our main file ready over here. I'm going to go to, instead of Android view, to the project view, and then I'm going to move to the layout and our Java file. So these are the two files that we will be using. And now what we want to do is again go to the tools and Firebase, and let's go to the real-time database, and that's what we want to connect with our app. Save and retrieve, and let's add the real-time database to your app. Hit that button. Now what this tells us that it will include a few dependencies, and I'm going to accept the changes. Now it will take a little bit of time to process, and I'm going to pause the video and continue once it's done. So the Gradle sync is finished. I'm going to hide this again, and let's just delete the hello world text from our relative layout, the home page, that is the activity main. And instead of that, I'm going to add a button, and let's place it right over here. I'm going to increase the size, and let's go to the properties panel, and let's just change the ID of this button to something, let's say click button, or maybe Firebase button. All right, then I'm going to change the text of this button to, let's move down. What happened to it? All right, there we go. So let's change this text to click to change. All right, hit enter, and there we have our button ready over here. Now what we want to do is we want to include this button in our main activity file. So we can do that easily. As you can see that just simply type in private button and hit enter, or alt enter to import, and I'm going to call it click Firebase button. All right, then you move down to your onCreate method, as I may be assuming that you guys already know the basics, and find view by ID Firebase button. All right, so then what we want to exactly do is what's the use of this button? Let me tell you. You open up your database, and what we want to do is once the user clicks on this button, it should add some value to our root element, and that's pretty much basically we want to do. So let's move to our Android Studio back, and let's add an on-click event listener, because that's how it's going to work. So I'm going to say Firebase button dot set on-click listener, new on-click listener, and that's how it creates an on-click event. Then what we want to do is we want to now we need to include the, what do you call it, real-time database to our main activity. Now you can go to the doc section and go to the guides. Again, I'm going to tell you how to do it. Then we move to the real-time database section and move to the Android section. There we have so many options for Unity and many others. Then what we want to do is read and write data, because we want to write data. All right, let's move down. Now, so they say that to read or write data from database, you need to add instance of database reference. So that's pretty easy to do. What we are going to do is just simply add in the instance. Let's do that by creating a database reference instance. Come over here. Let's type in private database reference, and I'm going to call it database. All right, now the line that says database to Firebase database. All right, what just happened? Okay, the line that says Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference, this exactly means that we are pointing this database variable to the root directory of our app. Now if you are not getting it, don't worry about that. We will proceed to it really soon. So I'm just gonna say where we have it inside here, m database equals Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference. Now as I said, this means that we are pointing this to the root directory of our app. All right, now how to store a data is actually pretty easy. We're going to move to a little bit down. You don't need to worry about how to read data for right now, but let's just move down a little bit and we're going to see how to save data first. So here you can see that they have provided us the documentation. Now for the beginners, this documentation really sucks because I have seen many guys, they don't get even a bit from this documentation. So I guess the Firebase guys should work on their documentation so that everybody will be able to work with. So as I said, we will be moving to this step in the next part. I'm going to pause the video right over here and let's move to adding the data to the database. But for right now, you should be able to create an instance of the what do you call it, Firebase database, real-time database to our app. So we'll continue in the next part. See you.